living with Trump derangement syndrome hurts. The nonsensical rantings, the sudden loss of funniness, the desire to impersonate a scientist, the urge to masturbate in public, and general mental decline are all symptoms of Trump derangement syndrome. But now, there's help with Megasil. Megasil is the only proven treatment for TDS, shown to increase levels of patriotism and all-around greatness. TDS hurts, but Megasil can help. Talk to your doctor if you experience a freedom boner lasting over 4 hours.
What is up, guys? Tyson Dela Cruz here. Thank you so much for rocking with me. Kamala Harris did a town hall, and it went as planned. It went exactly as you think it would, just like this. Shout out to everybody watching. Drop your comments down below and smash the like button if you kindly would. And also let me know where you're watching this out of. It's super cool to see where everybody's watching these videos from. So Kamala Harris did this town hall, and it went exactly as you might have thought it was going to go. This is how she looked at one of the town halls. And her answers that she delivers here, I'm not going to have you guys watch the entire town hall. I chopped it up a little bit, but this is going to be a laugh fest. So make sure that you have. I'm going to be laughing, so it's going to be cringe, but you're going to think to yourself, how can somebody actually vote for a person like this?
So I may not be quick to have the answer as soon as you ask it about a specific policy issue sometimes, because I'm going to want to research it. I'm going to want to study it. I'm kind of a nerd sometimes, I confess. So I may not be quick to have the answer as soon as you ask it about a specific.
This is the answer that she gave. Mr. Cooper, I might not be quick to get it, but when I get it, I got it. I can't believe people are voting for this person. I still cannot believe that people are voting for this person. And CNN, we already know Scott Jennings on CNN always drops the heat, but CNN in totality is like, WTF, what is going on?
It probably will shock Kamala Harris and the rest of her campaign staff to learn that there are incumbent Democrat U.S. senators in this country right now running television ads touting all their work with this modern-day Hitler. I wonder if Kamala Harris tonight in our town hall meeting will call for them to take these ads off the air, touting their work with this Hitler. I mean, if he were really Hitler, if he were really a threat to democracy, not a single Democrat in this country would be running ads touting their work with Donald Trump. Now,
this is a key identifying factor that the campaign is completely crashing. It is crashing like this. Democrats all across the nation that are up for re-election have now realized, and they're saying Kamala Harris and the Tim Walz campaign aren't going to do anything for us. So we're not even going to tie anything about Kamala Harris. We're going to say that we called up Donald Trump and Donald Trump helped us out. So vote us back in or re-elect us. This is what some of these ads are saying across the nation. Her campaign is an absolute free fall. Before we jump into some of the footage from the town hall, I'm going to share a portion of this. I'm only going to share a couple of seconds, so please bear with me, but this is pure comedic gold. I can't let you guys go on without watching this. I don't remember what the question was on this particular thing, but she has Liz Cheney on here looking. This looks like an Alcoholic Anonymous kind of situation. All these people back here look super depressed. I don't get it. Here we go.
If I can just speak to what people are feeling. We cannot despair. We cannot despair. You know, the nature of a democracy is such that I think there's a duality. On the one hand, there's an incredible strength when our democracy is intact, an incredible strength in what it does to protect the freedoms and rights of its people. Oh, there's great strength in that. And it is very fragile.
If that sounds familiar, it is, because she uses the same one-liners multiple times. She just repeats and regurgitates.
The nature of our democracy is that it provides great strength, but it's also very fragile.
If this isn't a clear identifier that this woman is a complete wino, she's a wino. There's something going on. There's you don't let this woman go on stage like she's been going on stage. Okay? A, she doesn't have her policies right. And then B, I think that she's under the influence. And so do you guys. Let me know in the chat. Let me know in the chat. Do you think that she's under the influence? Here's what Jesse Waters had to say about Kamala Harris's recent press appearances.
Kamala Harris went on national TV last night and told you she never noticed Biden was slipping. She had lunch with him every week for 4 years, but he was falling asleep in his soup. Kamala didn't think we deserved to know. Bob Woodward reports that a year ago, Democratic donors said Biden was shot. Quote, he never completed a sentence. He would start to talk about something, jump somewhere else. He told the same story 3 times in exactly the same way and meandered so much. It was striking. Somehow Joe escaped, ditched basically the White House doctors and made it all the way to New Hampshire, where we witnessed him mumbling, lock him up.
I know this sounds bizarre. It sounds like if I said this 5 years ago, you'd lock me up. We got to lock him up. Politically lock him up. Lock him out. That's what we have to do.
This election's turned into who can lock who up first. Oh, sorry. Binder says we're not supposed to take what President Biden says literally.
He said politically lock him out. That is what he was referring to.
Well, he first said twice, lock him up. So you're saying when he said lock him up, he meant to.
Well, it's not what I'm saying. It's what he said. He said to the what? He right? Exactly.
It's not what I said. It's what he said. They can't even cover for him anymore.
He clarified himself. He wanted to make sure that things were put into context.
Well, what's the difference between lock him up and politically lock him up? It's the same thing. Behind the scenes, the Biden White House is a mess. No one's in charge. Kamala's on the ropes, and the White House staff's leaking. Ready? For better or for worse, no one is listening to him anymore, and his words have little power and less reach. It's a blip, gone in any meaningful way by midday tomorrow if it makes it that long. Joe's staff's throwing him under the bus. I don't know why Kamala can't. One former Biden staffer said, we got to lock Joe up. Even the press is realizing how bad this looks.
Mr. President, are you a liability for Vice President Harris on the campaign trail? Are you a liability
This guy looks like a rumba going back to its base station.
for Vice President Harris on the campaign trail?
Were you calling for Donald Trump to be jailed, Mr. President? Are you trying to make it so close?
Democrats tell the truth about Biden in private, but in public, they only say nice things, then accuse anyone who speaks out as a conspiracy theorist. Almost 1 year ago to the day, NBC called the idea of replacing Biden on the ballot a Republican conspiracy theory. And then it happened, and they cheered. Sources now say that we will not see Joe Biden with Kamala Harris for the rest of the campaign. Maybe Kamala was the anonymous staffer. Former Speaker.
Hilarious. Hilarious. Now let's jump in to the town hall with Kamala Harris. So Dana bashed. Dana Bash bashed Kamala Harris with this town hall.
Tell you what I'm hearing from people who I have been talking to, and that is that if her goal was to close the deal, they're not sure she did that. And, you know, some people have asked, is she being held to a different standard? Maybe, but that's maybe the world that she's living in. And on the question of who she is, people are understanding that a little bit more. But what she will do, the question about her legislative priorities, name one, there wasn't one. You know, some more of her personality and her sort of character questions about your weaknesses or what mistakes did you make? Not necessarily the answers there.
She's a dunce. That's what's going on here. That is what's going on here. Anderson Cooper said in 2022, 2023, there were a record of border crossings and the numbers kept going up. And here's what Kamala Harris had to say.
2022, 2023, there were record border crossings. Your administration took hundreds of executive actions. It didn't stem the flow. Numbers kept going up. Finally, in 2024, just in June, 3 weeks before the first presidential debate with Joe Biden, you institute executive actions that had a dramatic impact, really shut down people crossing over. Why didn't your administration do that in 2022, 2023?
First of all, you're exactly right, Anderson. And as of today, we have cut the flow of immigration by over half. In fact, the numbers I saw most recently, illegal immigration.
But if it was
low.
that easy with that executive action, why not do it in 2022, 2023?
Because we were working with Congress and hoping that actually we could have a long-term fix to the problem instead of a short-term fix.
You couldn't have done one and both at the same time?
Well, here's the thing. We have to understand that ultimately this problem is going to be fixed through congressional action.
She's getting grilled. She cannot answer questions. I'm going to just bear with me, guys. She is absolutely going down in flames. I know this is daunting, but these clips are only like 30 seconds each. So we can hang in there. We'll hang in there together. We'll do it for America. We'll do it for America. Here we go.
I mean, you did raise your hand saying in a debate when asked if border crossing should be decriminalized, but obviously that is not your position.
I never intended, nor will I ever allow America to have a border that is not secure. I believe we need to deal with illegal immigration. There needs to be consequences, which is why part of my plan that I have outlined, and again, please go to KamalaHarris.com. Sorry to throw a website on you, but why not?
Go to KamalaHarris.com, where I copied Joe Biden's policies. Just go to KamalaHarris.com, guys, because I can't formally articulate a complete sentence to describe what my policies are. So just go to KamalaHarris.com.
And you will see that part of my plan includes what we need to do to actually do more as it relates to putting resources in, including increasing penalties.
What we've done was not enough, and we need to do more. Whatever we've been doing, we need to do more of. It's complete word salad. It is complete. This is word salad galore. What do you guys think about this? Who is voting for this person? Who, after seeing her do more press events, who is voting for this person? I want to know. If you're voting for this person, drop it in the chat. Let me know and tell me why you're voting for this person. Okay? Anderson Cooper grilled Kamala Harris right here about the border wall. Kamala Harris previously mentioned that the border wall was a vanity project for Donald Trump.
Under Donald Trump, you criticized the wall more than 50 times. You called it stupid, useless, and a medieval vanity project. Is a border wall stupid?
Well, let's talk about Donald Trump and that border wall. So remember, Donald Trump said Mexico would pay for it? Come on, they didn't. How much of that wall did he build? I think the last number I saw is about 2%. And then when it came time for him to do a photo op, you know where he did it? In the part of the wall that President Obama built.
But you're agreeing to a bill that would earmark $650 million to continue building that wall.
I pledge that I am going to bring forward that bipartisan bill to further strengthen and secure our border. Yes, I am. And I'm going to work across the aisle to pass a comprehensive bill that deals with a broken immigration system. I think Jackson's question, part of it was to acknowledge that America has always had migration, but there needs to be a legal process for it. People have to earn it. And that's the point that I think is the most important point that can be made, which is we need a
Anderson Cooper stunned.
president who is grounded in common sense and practical outcomes. Like, let's just fix this thing. Let's just fix it. Why is there any ideological perspective on this? Let's just fix the problem.
Sure. Oh my gosh. She reminds me of like a crazy ex-girlfriend or ex-partner or whatever the situation is. And you're like, you know, it's a wrap. And it's like, no, let's just fix it. Let's fix it. But you haven't fixed it. You haven't fixed it. And you're not working towards to fix it. So that means that you probably don't care. You probably don't care. And now, all of a sudden, because you're tanking in the polls, you are tanking. You're like, I'm going to fix it. I'm going to fix it. I promise. Or like when your kids are in trouble and they did something wrong or they did something, you know, funky monkey, and you take away something. No, I'm going to fix it. I promise I'm going to fix it.
To fix the problem, you're doing this compromise bill. It does call for $650 million that was earmarked under Trump to actually still go to build the wall.
I am not afraid of good ideas where they occur.
So you don't think it's stupid anymore?
I think what he did and how he did it did not make much sense because he actually didn't do much of anything. I just talked about that wall, right? We just talked about it. He didn't actually do much of anything.
But you do want to build some wall.
He didn't actually do anything, did he? Did he? Did he actually do something? Yeah, he did. He did. He did more than what you've done in 3.5 years. And you're hiding Biden's cognitive decline to the general public. This is hilarious to me, guys. If this is equally hilarious to you as it is to me, drop that in the chat. And don't forget to smash the like button. You know, it helps with the YouTube algorithms. Kamala Harris has no clue what to say after Anderson Cooper asked her to think about one mistake that she had learned in her life. This is a good one. This is a good one. Are you guys ready?
Is there something you can point to in your life, political life, or in your life in the last 4 years that you think is a mistake that you have learned from?
I mean, I've made many mistakes, and they range from, you know, if you've ever parented a child, you know, you make lots of mistakes too. In my role as vice president, I mean, I've probably worked very hard at making sure that I am well versed on issues, and I think that is very important. It's a mistake not to be well versed on an issue and feel compelled to answer.
I can't. I'm sorry, guys. It reminds me of when, at least for me, when I went on my first couple job interviews and I didn't have any previous experience, and they ask you what one of your weaknesses are, and you say, I think one of my weaknesses is I work too hard and I don't stop. And you don't really answer the question. You're not honest. You're not honest about like the question that was answered. You know, I care too much. Like, what? Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Throughout the town hall, Anderson Cooper had to cut Kamala Harris off because she went on these deluxe word salads.
I bring a whole set of different experiences to this job and the way I think about it than Joe Biden.
Some voters, though, might ask, you've been in the White House for 4 years. You were vice president, not the president. But why wasn't any of that done for the last 4 years?
Well, there was a lot that was done, but there's more to do, Anderson. And I'm pointing out things that need to be done, that haven't been done, but need to be done. And I'm not going to shy away from saying, hey, these are still problems that we need to fix.
She's buzzing for sure. Now we're going to jump into a couple voter questions, okay? These are equally as cringe, but I'm going to try to laugh it up, you know, to bring some humor to this, because how did this candidate get this far? Okay? A couple months ago, she was rated the worst vice president of all time. When she ran for presidential candidacy in 2020, she didn't get any votes. So she left. She dropped out. And then she became vice president. And then now she's here with, again, no votes. She has no votes.
Quite a bit in the last 4 years.
Yeah.
And some people blame former President Trump. Some people blame President Biden. Who would you say is correct? And what would you do to bring prices down for Americans?
Thank you, Eric. And you're absolutely right. You know it. I know it. I think most Americans know it. Price of groceries is still too high. And we need to address it in a number of ways. One of my aspects of doing what we need to do to bring down the cost of living for working people and the middle class in America is to address the issue of grocery prices. Part of my background and how I come to it is probably a new approach grounded in a lot of my experiences as a former attorney general, where I took on price gouging. And part of my plan is to create a new approach that is the first time that we will have a national ban on price gouging.
Bro, come on.
Weaknesses do you bring to the table, and how do you plan to overcome them while you're in office?
That's a great question, Joe. Well, I am certainly not perfect. So let's start there. And I think that perhaps a weakness, some would say, but I actually think it's a strength, is I really do value having a team of very smart people around me who bring to my decision-making process different perspectives. My team will tell you, I am constantly saying, let's kick the tire on that. Let's kick the tires on it.
What weaknesses do you...
I got to play this clip. Tanking. Her campaign is tanking. The more that she speaks, the more it tanks.
Rapid increase in the migrant population. How will you ensure that every immigrant is integrated into American society safely? What benefits and subsidies will you provide them with? And how long will these benefits and subsidies last for an individual? Most importantly, will the American citizens' taxes pay for these benefits and subsidies? And if so, how much money will be allocated?
Well, thank you, Jackson. Let's start with this. America's immigration system is broken and it needs to be fixed. And it's been broken for a long time. And part of what we need to do is always prioritize what we need to do to strengthen our border. I will tell you, I'm the only person in this race among the two choices.
Let me guess. Who's prosecuted transnational criminals? Let's see.
That voters have. I've personally prosecuted transnational criminal organizations in the trafficking of guns, drugs, and human beings. I have spent a significant part of my career making sure that our border is secure and that we do not allow criminals in and we don't allow that kind of trafficking to happen and come into our country. And as my opponent has proven himself, he would prefer to run on the problem instead of fix the problem.
Wow. 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 Oh. Here's what Chris Cuomo had to say about Kamala Harris's recent surge. Well, let me put this. Her previous surge in popularity and then the steep decline in which she's facing now.
Kamala Harris is not a godsend, all right? You people didn't even like her 6 months ago. Now, all of a sudden, she's black female Jesus, the way Obama was black Jesus. And let me tell you something. He had a lot more going for him than Kamala Harris does. And not just as firsts go, but his type of campaigning, his type of persuasion, his charisma, okay? He was imbued with things that she is not. And I don't mean that as a criticism. It's just a point of comparison. And her process fucked her also. There's a convenience in it, but it fucked her also. Because there are a lot of misgivings about her. There's an underlying feeling that she didn't get this the right way. She may not have won a primary. She didn't even make it to the first round of primaries when she did run. And that is both fair and unfair at the same time. But look, this idea of don't say anything bad about her because Trump, I don't buy that. I don't buy that. And it's not how you get to a better place. It's a relative assessment. She has negatives. So does he. Does he have more? Yeah. He also has a way more intense following. That's why this race is so tight. Now explain that to me. Unless you want to write off half this country as bigots, how do you explain it being so tight? Maybe you're not as right about everything as you think you are. Maybe you should be a little bit more open to the people that you disagree with. Maybe they're not all racists.
Facts. There's a couple things that I disagree with Chris on that. General polling, specifically from leftist biased media, is obviously showing a close, tight race. Polymarket is showing something otherwise. Polymarket is a particular betting market, and there are some other pollings that show a significant lead for Donald Trump. I wanted to share epic, amazing rally because I want to end this video on a positive note. There was an amazing rally in Georgia where the entire Trump Avengers team assembled in Georgia for this turning point rally. Tulsi Gabbard, RFK, Tucker Carlson, Benny Johnson, Donald Trump. It was incredible. Here is a clip from Tucker Carlson. I think Tucker Carlson had one of the best speeches of the night. Got me jazzed up. It got everybody in the live chat jazzed up. If you're not attending the live events, you gotta attend the live events. I'm telling you, they are absolutely amazing. And the chat was on fire when Tucker Carlson got on stage. And here's a little sample of it.
On election day, and I sincerely believe Donald Trump's going to win. And if I thought he was going to lose, I'd be here anyway, by the way. I would. In fact, I would have been here earlier if I thought he was going to lose, just to make the point. I mean it. I don't like people who jump on the winning train, okay? I think Donald Trump's going to win. And not only do I think Donald Trump's going to win, I think that the vibe shift has been so profound. I mean, the numbers suggest he's going to win. He's ahead in all 7 battleground states. But much more important, and the early voting seems to be favoring him. But more important even than the conventional political markers is what you smell around you. And it's the return of freedom. It's the return of the country you grew up in, where you could say things like, I like that guy, and maybe you like the other person. That's fine. That was not allowed for 9 years. And it's allowed now. And I think, and it's because of what they did, by the way, they deserve this. But I think the vibe is so strong right now, I don't think we can get away with pretending something else happened. I don't think we can have another 2020 at this point. I just don't. I don't. Where they hid relevant facts from you, they prevented you from knowing about their candidate and then claimed victory, or 37 billion votes or whatever they claim he got. That's rigging the election. Period. If the government prevents people from knowing critical information about a candidate, they have rigged the election. And they did that. Period. Oh, you're not allowed to say that. I'm not allowed to say it because it's 100% true. And every person who hears it knows it's true, including the people who did it. I don't think they can do that again. I don't. And I don't think, no matter what they pull 2 weeks from now, 13 days from now, I don't think they can get away with standing up and being like on MSNBC, no, actually, Kamala Harris is a historically popular, it turns out. Woman who's never had a job, who can't even pronounce her own first name consistently. That's how false she is. Some woman who grew up in Montreal, Canada is lecturing me about America. Okay. I don't think they can do that because I don't think people are going to sit back and take it. I don't. It's enough. It's enough.
Yes. Yes. I have one more clip. Actually, hold on. How many more clips do I got of Tucker Carlson? Because Tucker Carlson's, I got 2 more clips of Tucker. I got 2 more clips of Tucker, and you guys are going to like them.
This is the end of a redemption arc. I've really never seen anybody treated like Donald Trump was treated, ever. Anybody, ever. Attack him. I watched this all up close. Defame him. Indict him. Arrest him. Let him get shot in the face. And he's going to win anyway. Oh. It is a triumph. It's a triumph. The phrase triumph of the human spirit has been turned into a cliche by the people who write movie posters, but it doesn't make it any less real. Donald Trump's victory will be a triumph of the human spirit. It will be a triumph of Americans over the machine that seeks to oppress them. It'll be a middle finger wagging in the face of the worst people in the English-speaking world who are leaders. It will be a moral victory the size of which I never thought I would live to see. And it's essential. It is so important that that happens.
I have one more that when Tucker Carlson said this, when we watched the live, if you haven't seen the full thing, the full rally, place a link for it in the description, link down below. But this one got me jazzed up. You guys ready? Here we go.
And the second reason you can't allow it is very familiar to anyone who has children, which is if you allow it, you will encourage more of it. If you allow people to get away with things that are completely over the top and outrageous, if you allow your 2-year-old to smear the contents of his diapers on the wall of your living room, and you do nothing about it, if you allow your 14-year-old to light a joint at the breakfast table, if you allow your hormone-addled 15-year-old daughter to slam the door of her bedroom and give you the finger, you're going to get more of it. And those kids are going to wind up in rehab. It's not good for you, and it's not good for them. No. There has to be a point at which dad comes home. Yeah, that's right. Dad comes home. And he's pissed. Dad is pissed. He's not vengeful. He loves his children. Disobedient as they may be, he loves them. Because they're his children. They live in his house. But he's very disappointed in their behavior. And he's going to have to let them know. He's going to have to get to your room right now and think about what you did. And when dad gets home, you know what he says? You've been a bad girl. You've been a bad little girl, and you're getting a vigorous spanking right now. And no, it's not going to hurt me more than it hurts you. No, it's not. I'm not going to lie. This is going to hurt you a lot more than it hurts me. And you earned this. You're getting a vigorous spanking because you've been a bad girl. And it has to be this way. It has to be this way because it's true. And you're only going to get better when you take responsibility for what you did. That's not said in the spirit of hate. It's not said in the spirit of vengeance or bigotry. Far from it. It's said in the spirit of justice, which is the purest and best thing there is. And without it, things fall apart.
Daddy is coming home. What did you guys think about Kamala Harris's town hall? Complete explosion at the seams. Kamala Harris and Walz's campaign is just crumbling as we speak. While Tucker Carlson, RFK, Tulsi Gabbard, Elon Musk, Donald Trump are assembling. We are assembling. If you haven't registered to vote, go ahead and register to vote and do so. Vote early if you can. Let me know what you guys think about all of this. Drop it down in the comment section down below. Smash the like button, share, subscribe. And as always, guys, I'll catch you on the next one.